Hello, Bible readers. It is Tuesday, December 1st. We are reading 1 Chronicles chapters 3 through 5 and Acts chapter 14, verses 8 through 28. 1 Chronicles first. Remember, it gets better. It's a hidden gem. Get through the guardians that are these first many chapters that are genealogies, and we'll get to some really profound stuff. But just to say a word about these few chapters, the length and artistic structure of the tribe of Judah's genealogy, it's different from all the others. It emphasizes maybe this is obvious, but it emphasizes how important Judah's genealogy is for the chronicler. It is interesting to see which tribes get described which ways. You know, the tribe of Reuben, for example, doesn't start with a great... And remember, here's who they are and where they've come from. Each tribe has its own kind of things it's famous for, put it that way. When we get to Acts, a pattern is emerging for Paul's ministry. The first part of the pattern is there's a success Paul is having some success among some of the Jews, many of the Greeks, but then there's hostility that rises up from unbelieving Jews, which is a replay of what was happening at Antioch. So we see that again in Iconium, and then something a little different in Lystra. But before we get to that, what makes this pattern? Like what is Luke's point that he's trying to get across by making Paul's experience be so similar? The first thing is, Luke wants to show that the turn that the church is making to the Gentiles is not because God is rejecting Jews. It's not done for that reason, but because some Jews are rejecting the gospel and permitting it from being spread. It's not just that all the Jews aren't paying attention and are saying this isn't true. Many are coming to believe. Many are not, though, and not only are they not choosing to believe, but they're also actively preventing the good news from being spread. That's making people like Paul and the church in general move away from where that violence is coming from, as we see later on in our reading today. So that's the first thing. Luke is trying to say this is why the church is making this move. The second thing is to justify, Luke wants to justify Gentiles as true recipients of the gospel. Luke wants to make it clear that the Gentiles are worthy of full inclusion. And that's why Luke is arguing over and over again that faith is what saves, not ethnicity or anything else. Faith is what creates an authentic messianic community. And so faith is shown through signs and wonders being done everywhere, that it could be Gentiles, it could be Jews, it can be anybody. Faith happens where faith happens. Lystra is the first totally Gentile community that Paul encounters. And they are it's almost embarrassing how successful the gospel is in this community, right? They want to worship Barnabas and Paul as gods. Really, this shows that a completely Gentile community, they know a divine healing when they see one. They don't have the obstacles, the biases. They don't have the hurdles to overcome that some of these other communities have had. So that's the first thing, that this total Gentile community is where the gospel gets the greatest traction. But then, of course, that turns violent too, and we see that pattern reemerge where unbelieving Jews come into town and get very violent against Paul. Paul is, of course, shown in his return as he kind of pops right back up after being left for dead outside town. Notice he doesn't come back into town to conquer or prove himself right against all those people who are wrong. Instead, he's come back into town to simply continue pastoral work. Paul is not in it for the glory. Paul is in it to spread the gospel, lift up the people who are going to lead the church, and that's it. And Luke is good at showing that's Paul's priority. I am one with my God. My God is with us, all of us, at all times and in all places.